Good morning, everybody. I'm Captain Tommy Skibble, and you are on the lifeboat. Sorry, I was running a little late this morning. I had a rather rough night. Actually, I had a good night. I had a rather rough morning. I slept beautifully until about an hour ago. Hello, Lene. Gail, good to see you. Massachusetts. We have a lot of people from Massachusetts on the lifeboat. Boy, do we have a lot of people from Massachusetts on the lifeboat. You know what that means, don't you? You're all on drugs. No, I'm kidding. We do get a lot of people from your part of the country. So if you, Chase the Heat, good to see you, man. It's my brother Johnny. He has a channel. If you've never checked it out, you should. It's a little bigger than ours. He eats hot peppers. And if you knew what that did to your stomach, people, you would have so much respect for what he does. Anyway, Johnny, tough morning, man. Tough morning. Slept well, and then this morning it got really ugly. Alan Ballantyne is home in Australia. I spoke with him yesterday. I'll be honest with you, I miss him already. I had an excellent time with Alan. It was just like having a brother, at the house. He was the perfect house guest, and I had so much fun with him for 2 weeks. Our trip to LA was epic, and the trip to the Grand Canyon was epic. There was just so many cool things that happened. It was awesome. This morning is the day that I am going to be going and getting looked at medically. It's not the end of the world, people. It's just part of me and part of getting old. The Papa Scoville said it best, that getting old sucks, but that it beats the hell out of the alternative. Speaking of my cousin from Boston, Buddha. Oh, well, tell your grandma I said I love her. She's fantastic. She really is. So yesterday, everybody, I got an invite. I got it the night before through legwork from Quiet Girl. That entire thing was brokered, put together, planned, all of it by Quiet Girl. I got one phone call. I mean, I got one text message from that said, could you send me over a biopic and, that kind of thing, and maybe a little bit of your background, and we'd like to have you on just because we're in a pinch. And they made it, it was fairly clear that this was not going to be a regular thing, but that they did want to get me to sit in on a pinch because of the particular subject matter. They were talking about Danny Masterson, and I've become somewhat well-versed on the Danny Masterson case, having been there for the sentencing and getting to know a lot of the parties involved. In fact, the exception of Danny, getting to know all the parties involved. But it was supposed to be a one-shot deal. I got a text message when that was over that said, boy, oh boy, man, can't wait to have you back on. Would you consider doing this on a weekly kind of a thing? Apparently, they got a lot of feedback. What was also super exciting was that Larry Lawton at the end of the show, I didn't see this because I ran over to do the lifeboat, but so many of you had sent me a message about it. At the end of it, Larry said, of all no disrespect to anybody that you've had on here before, because they're all great people, but I relate more to that guy than anybody you've had on talking to me, which was cool. Balake, good to see you, brother. Which was a really cool thing because they ended the show by saying that they were going to get him all of my contact info because Larry would like to have me on. Larry has 1.5 million subscribers. He talks about prison, but he has 1.5 million subscribers, people, or 6 or 8 AA runs. It would be a very nice thing to do some collaborations with him. So if you're one of those people that lights candles, go ahead and light candles. If you're one of those people that prays, fantastic. You just want to send some positive thoughts. We sure as hell would like to be on the Larry Lawton show. That would do wonders for the lifeboat, and in a quick fashion. Can you share the link? I missed it. I'll bet you somebody smarter than me can, Pat. The uh, the name of the show is Surviving the Survivable. I think is what it's called. Surviving the Survivable. Yeah, STS. Surviving the Survivable. I don't know that I know how to put a link in it, but somebody can do it up there because somebody is there a wrench in the house? Says Septimus, who drove the wrong car to work today. It's Septimus's problem. But it was I'll warn you, he's colorful. I do what I can to not sound like I'm from prison. And I watch Larry, by the way. Like I said, I don't have a problem with people cursing. I just don't want to do it here. Hey, Unpredictable Tony, thanks for stopping in. Glad to have you. I'm not going to be here for a long time this morning, people, because I'm going to be getting ready to go and get poked and prodded. One of my favorite things to do, but I do believe that there's no getting around it. I held out on this one as long as possible, hoping that things were going to get normal. I apologize to Seventh Son, to Full of Hope, to all of the people that managed to get a hold of me when I was on the side of the road. I picked up the phone once or twice, and then I think I dropped the phone and it went behind the seat. But when I was trying to pick it up, I just didn't want. Anyway, I'm sure I scared the hell out of everybody. I was in a very bad way. I was sweating as profusely as I ever had, and I'll be honest with you, I was scared. I thought I was punching my ticket there on the side of the road, and apparently I mentioned that I was on my way back to a place that I no longer live. But I had moved fairly recently. I'm sure that I sounded terrifying. I'm sorry for everyone that had to hear that. I am going to be, thank you, Pat. Excellent. Enjoy it. But I am going to be heading in for some testing today to find out what exactly is going on. I'm sure that it is nothing. I will, however, take all the prayers that you'll send my way and appreciate those in a big way. But I'm sure that it's nothing, and I'll keep you in the loop and let you know that it's nothing. Thoughts and prayers for everybody that needs them. This is it's times like this, people, where the host gets, a little sideways. That it's great that everyone has a group of 5 to connect with. But I'm going to be back today, I promise you. I'm hoping to do I know I've got something coming up with AA Ron, probably today or tomorrow. Bijou has filed for divorce. I think most of you know that, but Bijou has filed for divorce from Danny Masterson. Didn't take long. I don't think it's about love. I think it's about business, but it's amazing how those business things, how things that start as business, it tends to, I watched it happen to people in prison that said, "Oh, I divorced the old lady for this," and pretty soon they're arguing on the phone, and you can hear them, and it's sad, Oh yeah, you got divorced for that. You didn't really want to be married in the first place, though, did you? And nothing good is happening in that man's future. Good energy coming your way for your appointment, Tommy. Thank you, Nancy. That's such a kind thing. I mean it. Very, very kind. Thank you. People, I love the direction that the lifeboat is going. I really do. And we're going to get it. It's going to get back to a more routine schedule. I sadly am working with health trouble, and Heather Joy would jump in the seat today. I really would like Heather to be healthy. Above all, I would like Heather to be healthy. And Heather took a really good fall, people. I've taken a lot of shots to the head. Probably, yeah. I mean, I would put myself up against 99.9% of the population on this planet in terms of getting hit in the head. Right? It's what's going to take me out. I've had about 13 concussions that I actually went and saw doctors for. I don't know how many I've had that I didn't go see doctors before. For like you get a shot in the head in prison or something, and you just can't walk down to medical because it's going to get you sent to the hole and all that. So a lot of concussions, and the amount of time it took for Heather to heal from those injuries. That was a really bad shot to the head, and I ran back every single time I injured myself my entire life. If I was supposed to be back in 3 weeks, I was back in 4 days. And if I was supposed to be back in 4 days, I just continued to compete or whatever. And you know what? You get to an age where you think that's probably a really bad idea. And having any kind of control at all over the boat, I wanted to make sure that Heather was not doing anything that was going to be putting her at risk. Now, for all of you who say, "Oh no, no, you do this all the time," and yeah, I do, and it's my boat. I started the channel, and the responsibility falls a little bit more on me than it does on others. And if somebody's going to do it, then it should be me. I shouldn't be asking others to do it. That's my personal opinion. Oh no, Nora had a great video on the divorce with Liz Ferris. I will have to watch that, Gail. I have not seen that. And Nora and I have never met. I do like watching her stuff. I will watch that. I'd be curious. All I'm saying is that from the inside, those what divorce does to somebody that's on the other side of the bars. I've witnessed it. I've experienced it. It's under any circumstances, even if your significant other is telling you that divorce is just because this is going to make it so much easier. I know that a lot of it has to do with the civil case and things like that. They're not going to be able to protect as much as they'd like to. It doesn't really work that way. But they've gotten pretty slick at that over the years, at figuring out who's who. Diana M., good to see you in green. God bless. We will be rolling out the green program. I believe Monday of next week, we will be announcing the schedule for all members only feeds, which will be, they'll be scheduled. They will not be random. They will be same week after week after week. And there's going to be some silly things, by the way, in there. There are going to be some challenges that probably do not require peppers. Let me tell you something. If you are into hot peppers, Clayton grows fire. I'm telling you, Clayton absolutely grows fire. Salty Beach Girl Lori says, in my best nagging wife voice, get your arse to the doctor. I'm going, I promise. I'm not like just walking in there. I scheduled it. So I am going. And when I woke up this morning, I thought, you know what? I don't need to do this. I'm feeling good, borderline. I am. I'm not going to get graphic because I don't want everybody to, but obviously what I've been dealing with is cramps, and it's been cramps to the point that you can't walk, or you can't move. And we all pretty much know what causes the cramping, right? It usually has something to do with intestines and stuff like that. And I have had some issues with that in the past, and it just, without getting graphic, I need to make sure that all of the equipment is working appropriately. And I thought it was doing okay until this morning. I woke up this morning. That's why I was late, because I was sweating and doing that routine again. So I'm going, I promise. Thank you, CK. I appreciate that. Borderline, thank you. I love when I see the pounds, because it's so cool to me that the boat is all over the world. It's huge. And when you see a sign that isn't a dollar sign, it's always like, we are all over the place. It was fun going on that program. Once again, it was about 1,000% different than it is going on AA Ron's channel, right? I agree. Being reliant on poison is never a good thing. I personally am not. I have been Honestly, I've been living a life of chemical free for a really long time now. Been struggling for 8 years, suffered a leg injury. No, I'm not going anywhere, brother. I've got this. Septimus looks good in green. Well, thank you, Septimus. You're looking fantastic in green. Septimus has been around longer than I have, for the record. I think the interview was I think the interview went good. When you go on Aaron, Aaron is I'm not taking anything away from the guy on STS. He's a good interviewer, but you're in a panel, and when you're in a panel, it's a little bit more difficult to get what you want out of each person because there are very often certain personalities. I have one. I'm one of those people that if I get on a panel, sometimes I can take it over by accident. Got to stay away from spicy foods. Got to stay away from spicy foods. I can't stay away from spicy foods. My last name is Scoville. Hold on, check this out. No. Not going to do one of those first thing this morning. That might not be such a great idea. It's a different audience, great exposure for your channel. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you 100%. And Larry Lawton is the king of if you think of Ron and what everybody does is SBTV, I sort of fall into the ex-convict who has a channel kind of genre at some level. It's all part of how they classify us. But I fall into that ex-convict that has a channel. And as far as ex-convicts that have a channel goes, he's the king. He is absolutely the king. 1.5 million subscribers. So to hear him say, this is the only guy I can relate to, and please get me his info. It will be really great if I can get on that channel. I was put on opiates for a torn ACL. Let me see if I can get this up here. I was put on opiates for a torn ACL in May, but I'm struggling to come off them now. So I taper or cold turkey. Tell me. I want to tell you something. I've never met anybody that could taper off of opiates successfully. I haven't. What you're going to have to do is go cold turkey. Now, you can go cold turkey, and I am not a doctor. You should speak to one, right? Always and always speak to a doctor, in my opinion, and how it has worked for me. If you can cut down your dosage, like let's say you're taking 4 oxys a day, if you can get that down to 1 oxy a day, right? That's a taper. Then you're still going to have to just rip the Band-Aid off and quit. No matter what dose you get down to on a normal opiate. The exception to that rule being buprenorphine, Suboxone. You can keep stepping down Suboxone until you basically wean off with no pain. But that's a very, very rare. It's an agonist antagonist. It's not a normal opiate really. But if you can get your dose down before you quit cold turkey, you're going to be in better shape. But you are going to have to quit cold turkey. I mean, there's not going to be a day where you say, "Well, I took 1/16 of a pill and." The next day I was fine. It doesn't work like that. Yeah, and when you start breaking the pills, I mean, if you can get to a point where you're taking a half, once a day, fantastic. Most people can't. So when you get down to where you're taking, 1 a day or 1 3 times a day or whatever, rip the Band-Aid off, flush the pills, not literally. It's bad for the fish, but crush them up, put them in the garbage, take them to a fire department, but get them out of the house and or don't fill the next one. There's something really fantastic to being super honest with your pain specialist. The people that write you prescriptions for pain medicine want you to stay on pain medicine. And I don't mean the doctor that did the surgery. They've got no interest at all in you staying on pain meds. But if you're going to a pain specialist, they're drug dealers. I mean, they're not bad people and they want you not to be in pain, but their job is to sell friggin' drugs. I mean, you can church that up any way you want, but they need to write prescriptions for I have heard of Jumpsuit Pablo. I've actually I actually have watched Jumpsuit Pablo before. Everybody has a delivery that you gel with or you don't gel with. He has a state. He's done all of his time in the state, and we and our crimes are a bit different. I do watch him about once or twice a week. I don't gel to him the same way that I do Larry, and I could do without the cursing. I mean, um, why is it difficult to taper off of opiates? Says CK. Um, Here's why. First of all, it's difficult to taper off of anything, right? It's difficult to taper off of anything. But the way your body gets you to do drugs when it wants you to, right? Um, when you want to do dope, I mean, when the addictive part of your brain wants you to do dope, it's going to piss you off in order to get you to do dope, right? It's going to needle you in one way or the other. So if you're on pain medication, it needles you by causing the actual pain that you've been feeling to come back. And now it does this psychosomatic. And what I mean by that is if this thing whacks me as hard as I can on the top of the knuckles, that creates pain, correct? Okay. But what created that was not this striking the top of my knuckle, right? What created that was that sent the message to the brain. The brain said, ooh, that sucks, right? And a whole series of events happen in a split second, which makes us feel that terribly uncomfortable feeling in that, like the Fred Flintstone thing that starts going like this, right? You feel it throbbing. Okay. When you start trying to taper off of dope, this happens again. Now, this thing might be in a different state, but your brain knows that if I make this thing uncomfortable, if I make this thing really uncomfortable, if I simulate the pain, then they're going to take more dope. So when you start trying to taper off of pain medication, more often than not, what is going to happen is your pain level, your psychosomatic pain level is going to go through the roof. And it's going to make the fact that you're tapering off more difficult than if you were to just go cold turkey. I'm not addicted because I like the feeling. I'm addicted because I have been on them for 4 months nearly. Well, here's the good news, man. This may come as a shocker. So you're not addicted, you're dependent, right? Let's go over this real quick. There are two different ways to look at the addicted thing, right? You can be addicted and you can be dependent. And there are people who believe that they are the same things, and they're not. And I'll tell you why. Let's say that me and Borderline, we've never met. We walk into the hospital the same day with the same ailment. He tears his anterior cruciate ligament. I tear my anterior cruciate ligament. We get our surgeries done. They're both done by the same person. Perfect, right? But we're in pain. It's after surgery. So they write us a prescription for Percocet 30s, right? I get a prescription for 72 of them. So does he. And they tell us you can take up to 3 to 4 a day, whatever. But it's a tough rehab for both of us. And we continue to go through this process. And we each have to pick up one more prescription. And now we've been on it for about 2 months, taking the same medication every single day. Now, this is an opiate. Well, we're both going to be dependent, meaning that our body is not going to want us to get off of this without us getting sick a little bit, right? There's a physical dependency there. I, however, am a drug addict, which means that when we try to quit, my brain is going to go friggin' haywire. It's not just going to be you're going to be sick for 3 days and then everything will be all right. It's going to be haywire. It's going to be I got to do whatever I got to do to get more of this, right? I start calling friends. Hey, man, I got a really bad back. You got any, you ever save any pills or anything that you might have in the medicine chest? Because damn, I'm hurting. And they say, no, I don't have anything like that. And the next thing I know, I'm down on the street corner and saying to people, hey, man, is there anybody around here that sells any painkillers? You got anybody that sells any perks? No. I mean, we got guys that sell heroin, but it's the same crap, man. All you got to do is snort it, put it in water. You ain't got to shoot it or anything, or put it on tin foil and smoke. It's going to do the exact same thing to you. Well, that's what happens to the addict. What happens to the person who is dependent? You're going to, if all you are is dependent, my man, if you do not have an actual addiction to this, but you're just physically dependent because you've been on it for several months, then the best thing that you can do is stop taking them. You're going to have a really bad Monday, right? You quit on a Monday, you're going to have a really bad Monday. Tuesday is going to suck a little bit worse. Wednesday is going to be god awful. And on Thursday, it's going to be over. Doesn't mean you're going to be right as rain, but you're going to be on the upswing. You're going to be doing oh, thank God that's behind me. right? That will start. If you're just, if all you are is dependent on it because you've been using it, it's a 4 to 5 day process, and you'll be right as rain. I am an addict with benzos, but not with these. It's definitely dependency. Then just quit cold turkey them. And here's the thing: if you're addicted right now to benzos, which means you're probably taking Xanax or clonazepam or something like that, that's going to make you dropping the pain meds considerably easier. For real. I mean, don't put them both at the same time. Question. I keep Larry's first name, but not the show's name. I don't know the show's name. The name of the show that I was on was Surviving the Survivable or Surviving the Survivor or something like that. STS. Larry Lawton is, I think the name of his show is Jewel Thief or something like that. But he's impossible to miss. He's got like 1.5 million subscribers and a bazillion views. Yeah, really. Just keep taking the benzos. The benzos are going to make it a lot easier for that. No, you're clean for benzos. Then, for the love of everything freaking good, don't take any. I'm sorry. I thought you were still on them. For the love of everything good, don't listen to anything I just said. I thought you were on benzos. Yee. Yeah, seventh is on his 28th year on Dilaudid. However, Dilaudid gets it in a pump. And then, that's slightly different than chewing them. When it's being put into your body that way, it's the best possible case scenario for actual control of pain. Mary Jones says, I have fibromyalgia. I take pain medication on low dose. Every time I take a pill, it goes in any app on my phone. I am allergic to all other meds that help with pain. I have a high respect for meds. My God, it sounds like that's a fantastic app. If you maybe want to put the name of that up there, that's a great. That's an app. That's incredible. It really is. And I am so sorry that you have fibromyalgia. I have more sympathy for people. Hold on one second. No, you're not. That's not relapse, brother. Relapse is when you make a decision to go get a chemical so that you do not have to cope with what's going on in your life. That's relapse. You take pain medication because you're in pain. That doesn't make it a relapse. Hey, Coburn, you just made my day. Coburn says, good morning, Tommy. I just wanted you to know I've been sober for a while now. I feel better than I ever have. My mind is clear. My mood is up. I feel in control of my life. Love you. Love you too, man. Really, really love you too. Glad that you're here, man. So, Mary Jones, my heart goes out to you and to everybody that has fibromyalgia. And the reason is, more than any other affliction out there these days, I spent my whole life a drug addict. And I had to have people tell me that it's not a disease, that I didn't have a disease, that I just, I didn't have control over my life, or it was like a flaw in my personality, or, something along those lines. But it was not a disease. And the reason it wasn't a disease is because they couldn't test. They couldn't take me and you and test both of us and say, all right, you tell me which one of those is a drug addict. Because in order for there to be a disease, there are 3 boxes it needs to tick. And one of those boxes is that you can test it. And it was a very hard thing for me for a long time. And I got into so many arguments with people over this. But now, they came up with a PET scan, and there's a thing that you can do with the brain to show brain scans, and you can actually test the addicted mind and prove the other, and they can do that uniformly. So now they can officially call addiction a disease. Until that happens with fibromyalgia, you have so many people in so much pain who are sitting there and trying to make doctors understand that this is real. And that's one of the saddest things in the world to me, because having to convince somebody that you're in pain is it's just awful. It's not right. And my heart goes out to you, Mary, and to all of you who are surviving with fibromyalgia. I have a lot of friends that have it, and it's a terrible, terrible disease. And it is a friggin' disease. You guys will get credit eventually, I promise. I'd never abused substances again. I was lucky. I turned myself into rehab when my daughter was born. She saved me. Oh, wow. That is so cool, borderline. My daughter saved me too. It took a long time. My daughter and my son saved me. And I'll tell you something else, people. You get saved in a lot of different ways throughout life, and in different phases. The lifeboat got saved too. I'll be honest with you. The lifeboat got saved. I was getting to a place with the boat that it wasn't fun, and that's a terrifying thing because I can't do it if it's not fun. But Alan Valentine coming out here was great for me, and I met a whole new group of people, from the growing up in Scientology crew, and many people in there that were just life changing. Truthfully, muses, so to speak. Tons of you. Hold on one second. Children can be the best saviors of people with their innocence. My God, is that true? Chronic invisible illness sucks. Tommy Bird, I'm just going to shoot straight, man. Tommy, I wish you lived in a different part of the world. I feel like you have more to give the world than 99.9% of the people that come on this channel or come into my life in any way. And I just think that you live in a place that is, in terms of opportunity and in terms of being able to do things, it's heartbreaking, Tommy, because you've got one of the greatest attitudes of anybody I've ever met. And I'm proud of you, man. I really am. Just hang in there. I'm gonna be praying for you, man. Any pill reminder app. I will look that up though, because that is something that I'm going to be needing in my life. To be honest, I don't take most of the stuff I'm supposed to take, but I'm going to start. I really am. Borderline, I love you, man. I really do. He said, yeah, her innocence makes me realize I couldn't put her through a life of that. It's not been easy, but I just have to look at her and I'm good. If that doesn't prove the power of the mind, right? Does that prove the power of the mind? Two things can't occupy the same place at the same time. He looks at that girl, and there is no chance on God's green earth that anything having to do with the desire to get high could possibly operate at the same time. Gail said, I came from growing up in Scientology. I saw you on his channel. Well, thank you. A lot of the people here, we about half of you now have come over from there. We got a lot of people from growing up in Scientology. We've had a great relationship with Aaron and with everybody over there. And I've met so many other people that have been fantastic. The other channels as well. I'm going to be doing some stuff with my lawyer friend Zach. He and I have been talking. I'm going to be going on that. Obviously, I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff with Surviving the Survivor, which is cool. It's a great series. I'm hoping to do some stuff with Larry and the Degraded Daughters of Dianetics. I'm going to be doing some stuff with Vanessa, who's lovely. Vanessa's fantastic. Just a really sweet girl. Look forward to working with her. Captain, does that mean all Aussies can visit you and the squirrel? Well, absolutely. You just have to be as good a house guest as Alan Valentine. And I'm telling you, that is setting the bar really freaking high. Alan was one of the best, if not the best house guest I've ever had in my life. It was just like having family here. It's going to sound crazy, but there was a postpartum kind of a depression when Alan left. Really, I mean, it was so much fun having him here. Just having him here to share the boat and all that after all the time that we had Alan and I had been talking every day or a couple of times a week for a really long time. Did you just say sorry for unloading? Sorry for unloading? That's like going to Jiffy Lube and saying, "Oh man, I'm sorry. Did I leave some oil here?" Right? You saw me on Chasing the Heat. I do believe I was on Chasing the Heat there, Septimus. Way back in the day. I think I might have spent a little time on Chase the Heat. Tommy Bird, what we do is we come here and we unload. You know, there are going to be days we don't feel like we have a good attitude. And you know what? There are going to be days where nothing anybody says is going to make your attitude good. There are going to be days the attitude is going to suck. And then because of all the things going on in our lives, we're going to have a very difficult time getting out of our own way. That's not unhealthy, believe it or not. It's part of the human condition, and it's something that is going to happen to every one of us. The trick is that we don't cash our chips in on those days, right? The real trick becomes that we have those days less and less often. And those days are not as intense and not as horrendous. I know enough about your situation, and I don't want to put it on blast, but man, you've got challenges that are over the top, Tommy. It's but not unloading would be a sin. Coming here and talking about the things that are hurting you is the absolute basis of this entire channel, right? Coming here and saying, I'm hurting. People, I'm not doing real well health-wise, right? And I hate saying that. I don't like coming here. I don't like doing that. It's one of my least favorite things to do in the world. My problem is simply put is that from eating to getting it out isn't working correctly. And we're not exactly sure what that's all about. Sadly, that kind of stuff mimics heart conditions. If somebody is having some kind of gastric, like I'm going to throw out the worst case scenario because it's not what it is, but it's something that will make sense to everybody. But let's say you had a twisted intestine or something like that. Those symptoms would mimic everything that was happening to my heart 3 weeks earlier. So it's just, but I'm going to come here and I'm going to talk about it. And I'm going to tell everybody what's up. And I am going to the doctor. So don't yell at me and do all that. I'm going, right? I'm doing that. I promise. I've had family members that were addicts. I have seen how their lives were destroyed from it. Yeah. It will absolutely destroy you. Look at this. Onward and upward. Go conquer your world as only you can. We will give you a lifeboat when you need it. You know what? I love Christy. I really do. Christy is. I'll tell you something else. There was literally a change in the boat when Christy. We had a big talk about normies. We did a show on it. Please don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you. Yeah. But right around the time that we celebrated the Queen of the Normies, and we did an interview, I would be really surprised if about 5% of the lifeboat is now people that have never had drug problems, and I think that is such a testament to how fantastic the original crew that got here was. That you guys just brought together a really diverse group of people, and you made this such a welcoming place to be. That I mean, I've done 1,100 of these shows, right? Of the 1,200 shows here, I think I've done probably maybe 1,050 of them or something like that. And they're about an hour a piece. And the reason that I don't get burnt out, the reason that I don't, because I talk about the same things. I mean, think about it, people. How much more can you talk about? It's sobriety, right? There's only so much you can talk about. But I do not get burnt out because of the interplay between me and all of you guys. The reason that I'm able to do this is because I get so much out of you guys. It's I mean, this recharges my batteries in ways that I cannot explain. Gail says, right, never had a drug problem, but know many who have. I'm here to support those that are struggling. And we love that. We absolutely love that. Tommy Bird, man, if you want, if you need to reach out to me as a 5, please do it, man. If we need to talk one-on-one, you know how to get a hold of me, bro. Because that sounds, I mean, I can give you the standard lifeboat kind of pitches, right? Where I could say, man, well, get yourself out a piece of paper and do the Ben Franklin, right? Let's get a line down the middle of that paper and let's write on the left side the positives and on the right sides the negatives of each of those things and add those up. I can give you those kind of platitudes and cliches, but if you want to talk, reach out to me. The before noon is going to be a little tough because of my visit. Susie Q. Susie Q says, I'm struggling with that too. I say, I lost my job. I spend too much time alone and my brain lies to me. Your brain lies to you. Your brain does automatic negative thoughts, right? And those ants begin to crawl all over you. So what we need to do, Susie Q, is we need to control what's going on in that brain, right? If we allow a brain, well, it's like anything else, right? If you run a business and you've got 75 employees on the floor and you don't watch them, you let them do whatever they want, I assure you nothing will get done, right? They'll play cards. They'll talk about, who was on the lifeboat last night. They will just start having conversations and they will start goofing off and they will start doing whatever. But it's the exact same thing with ants. You understand that automatic negative thoughts are either automatic, right, negative thoughts, or they're controlled thoughts that do something else, but they don't go away. When the ants disappear, they don't go, no, they just go back to work. They're workers that should be doing other stuff. And when we don't give them other stuff to do, well, then they all start gossiping and they all start lying to you. And they start telling you that you're just like your mother, or, you know what, you've never looked good since college, or this person was never really honest. And that person was, you really can kick the hell out of yourself. Automatic negative thoughts are awful. I suffer with them worse than anybody alive. I cured that by not giving myself any downtime. The only time I would have negative thoughts, automatic negative thoughts, is if I'm laying in bed before it's time to go to sleep. So I don't do a whole lot of laying in bed before it's time to go to sleep. I work until I'm ready to fall down, and then I fall down. I journal, right? And then I go. Hold on tight to your dreams. We really are getting an excellent crew of people here in the morning. Borderline, we're really glad that you're here, man. You're a perfect fit. I mean that. Welcome to the lifeboat. We have a great group. Insomnia is the BFF of ants. Who the hell just said that? Who just said that? When the positivity is away, the ants will play. Barella, well played. When the positivity is away, the ants will play. I also like insomnia is the BFF of ants. It's so true. It is so true. Both of those are fantastic. I could just go like this and go back and forth, right? When the positivity is away, the ants will play. And insomnia is the BFF of ants. But both of those are fantastic. So the question becomes, do you walk around being Tony Robbins all day saying, I'm going to be the most positive person in the world? I don't know. I do. For real, that's what I do. I try to walk around being that guy. And when I find that I'm really pissed, like I'm putting in a garbage disposal and I find out that I did it wrong, and when I put the water on, water goes all over my kitchen. As a homeowner and as a homeowner of a recently purchased home, there's a lot I'm doing. And I went through it yesterday. And now as soon as I get healthy, I've got to go and redo it. I couldn't do it last night. I couldn't face it. But hey, Luke Skywalker, good to see you. But the automatic negative thoughts will they'll begin to decimate you if you don't stay busy. I got so angry at that machine that I could feel the automatic negative thoughts coming as I was going to bed. You know what? You should have just paid a plumber. Would have been $150 and you wouldn't have had to deal with this. You're stupid. Think of the time that you wasted, because that's really what it's all about. It's about wasted time. What is your time worth? And it just starts going. It's going to sound silly as crap, but you know what I do? I get the biggest grin that I can get on my face, right? I start here where it's silly. I just continue to work that bad boy until it gets just downright, yeah, Ned Flanders. And I put that puppy on there as wide as I possibly can. And I hold it on there for about 3 or 4 minutes. And I can throw on da-na-na, da-na-na, da-da, da-na-na, da-na-na, da-da. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Takes the first 4 or 5 notes of life's been good to me so far. And a big smile on my face, and I can pull myself out of almost anything. I'm not addicted, but I'm here to support others. I have had close family members. You know what? I thank you so much, Mary. And this is our normie crowd has gotten huge. It's gotten fantastically big. And it's funny because so many of them show up and say, I'm just here to support other people. And, the stories are great. And inevitably, I will get a letter from a normie who says, I started to deal with this thing in my life, right? No matter how bad it is. And I basically used all the same techniques that you talked about on the lifeboat to stop doing drugs, to continue moving forward with this problem that I was having. And boy, it worked for me. Yeah. The lifeboat's about living your best life. It just so happens that I'm a drug addict, and it brings in a lot of people, and that's a subject that I discuss a lot. But the lifeboat's about living your best life. And the key to living your best life is being connected to people. If you don't think it is, you're wrong, right? If you think the connection is not the key to everything, well, then you're freaking wrong. It's not something that's open for debate. You debate it somewhere else. It's a fact, right? It works. I didn't make it up, people. I promise you I didn't. I just know it to be a fact. Don't end up on Kensington Avenue. Live stream from Philadelphia. Siegel Rockspach. It is a horrific thing to watch. And it's not, Kensington gets a lot of press because it is ground zero. There's so much of the trank dope there and you see it on the news all the time. It's ground zero. However, there are 25 places in the US, not nearly as bad, but 25 places in the US that if you walked into, you could be in Kensington, you wouldn't be sure. Kensington goes on forever. But there are places that will remind you of it. I took Alan Ballantyne by accident to a couple of those places when I was in California. We ended up in a few places that were pretty damn scary. And I'm a 225-pound, 3-time convict. And it scared the hell out of me. So I know it got Alan's attention. Although Alan did climb this ugly mountain with me and made it look easy. Russ Hampton, good morning, my brother. Hopefully, Russ is going to be bringing home a laptop, and Russ and I are going to be doing a show together. I hope it's today. I know you guys have been screaming for it. I got so many damn emails about it. And people, I promise you, I told Russ the day that we did it, hey, we're going to do this again. Before I heard from any of you, I said, we're going to do this again. I loved it. I had a great time. It's always just about the logistics of getting it put together, because a bunch of you really have sent a lot of emails. You've got fans, Russ. So he's going to reach out to me today when he comes home from work, and we're going to try to get it scheduled in today. If we don't, I'm sure it will be tomorrow, but we're going to try to get it in today. We're going to be talking about a lot of different prison stuff, because there's a bunch of stuff that has come up. The whole Bijou getting divorced thing, the fact that we know that Danny has been moved. He's not in the county jail, but we're going to go over all that. I want an expert with me when I talk about this. And he is most assuredly an expert on all things California prison system and a good solid wood in good standing. So pretty fired up for that. Badger Life. Good to see you, man. Glad that you're here. Cherry Bakewell, always a pleasure. We're all still addicts, even if in recovery. We say recovering addicts, or we really like recovered addicts. Yeah, you know what? I really I really like to think of myself as a recovered addict. I truthfully do. But before anybody gets really bummed out about that, the reason that I'm recovered is because I am educated enough to know. And what I mean by that is I'm not going to be able to do heroin ever again for the rest of my life. I'm not going to be able to take a pill, a pain pill, or anything like that for the rest of my life. Um, Thank you, Vixen. Love you too. Thanks, Vixen. Glad that you're here. Uh, my power is in the fact that I know I have no power, if that makes sense. I mean, it was a rough neighborhood, but that's about it. The usual problems. Um, you know what? It's amazing what drugs can do to a neighborhood and how fast. Because I'll be honest with you, look, Kensington, people are talking about how this is a new phenomenon. It is not a new phenomenon. I am 53 years old and I used to drive to Kensington in college. It was about a 5 hour road trip, but we used to drive to Kensington to pick up drugs. So Kensington has always been a part of the city that was really, really a drug problem. It's just that the drugs have changed more than Kensington has. I like that recovered addict. I know I can't do what I did ever again, or I'll lose not only my daughter, but my life. Well, then, my friend, in my world, a person who understands that and literally signs that contract in blood, right? The person that says that's it. I don't have a problem with that. I know people that get very upset with this. You can't say never again. It's too much pressure. And I tell people in the beginning, okay, don't. Just get through today. All you got to get through is today. I assure you, I am never going to do dope ever again. I'm not. I'm cured of it. But the reason I'm cured of it is because I know I can't. I don't have any control. It owns me. You understand? It owns me. CK, subs will save your freaking life. I promise you. The number of people whose lives have been saved um, by doing subs just from the lifeboat. I have made a deal with people from the word go. If we help you get on medical assisted treatment, whether it's just us holding your hand or if it's us paying for it or anything else, you're not allowed to come on here and say we did it. Right. And I know this bums a lot of people out. There was one day where somebody was going off about what a scam we were. And I had 5 people texting me. I'm going to say the deal has always been the same. The reason is if you come on here and 5 people say, hey, he paid for me to do this, you know how many people are going to show up with an email and say, send me $195 because I need this or I need that. And it just becomes like rife with scam. We talk to people, we found out who they are, but we've helped hundreds, literally at this point, hundreds of people get on medical assisted treatment. And I would say that our batting average is probably about 85%, which is literally the inverse of what it would be for the rest of the world, right? Instead of 20% failing, right? 20% succeeding rather. We have 20% failing. And of the 20% that fail, people, they didn't want to be in it. They didn't want to be in it. There are people whose significant others twist their arms. There are people that, they were in a group of 10 other people. Like we did some stuff down some halfway houses and things, actually a really big project at a halfway house for young kids where we did about 36 people in one day. All got put on medical assisted treatment. 4 of them are dead. They weren't ready. And they got swept up in wanting to do it because the rest of the group were, but they went back out and we lost them. But it is an amazing drug. If you are struggling and you can't get off, it will save your life. Plain and simple. There are people who, the only complaint I get is people say, well, I'm trading one for another. What happens if I can't get off that and I take that for the rest of my life? Wow. Wouldn't that suck? You mean I would have to take this thing and put it under my tongue and then not think about it again for 24 hours? Not a thought, not a Jones, not a anything ever again. I'm going to trade that for what I got now, right? Waiting in parking lots, stealing, doing all those things. Let's see. If you got stuck on one for the rest of your life, I would recommend Suboxone, but that's just one guy's opinion. Question. Tommy, please get a full blood screen to see if you have an infection, just in case your white cell count is up, please. Just for yourself, Squirrel and Everett. Not just for yourself, but for Squirrel and for everyone who loves you. Moni, thank you so much. I will do that. All right. I will ask my doctor to do that, Moni. I really will. And I will do that because of your kindness. Thank you. It means the world to me. Tommy Bird says, yep, I'm happy to answer any questions for anyone. When I have answers, it makes me feel structured instead of the chaos that is my life and emotional state at this time. Tommy, why do you think I do what I do? The lifeboat makes me feel the same way. I'm worried about the world too, CK. And you know what? You can't fix it. I can't fix it, but you can fix that part of it, right? You may not be able to win the war on drugs, but you can beat the hell out of the battle, right? I can't stop everybody in the world from dying of fentanyl, no matter how hard I try, and I'm gonna. But I cannot stop the whole world from dying from fentanyl. So I'm gonna make sure that nobody named Scoville dies from fentanyl, right? I'm gonna make sure that nobody that is in my immediate family and none of the people that are in my sphere of influence have any chance of passing away from it. That's going to be my goal. You know, this is interesting. Salty Beach Girl says, my sister's drug of choice was Miller Lite and Crown Royal, and it's on every corner and legal. She says she has to conquer it again every single day for the last 19 years. Do you know what? And there's truth to this. There is. This is something that people who struggle with alcohol, in particular, it's in your face all the time, right? And it makes it far more difficult. However, I've known people who quit drinking and worked as bartenders for 7 or 8 years as an alcoholic and served drinks. And you just think to yourself, how is that possible? How is it that they're not having to quit every time they see the peace that you get in your recovery is something that you can build, and you can build it to the level that you want. I'm not mocking your sister. I'm not mocking anybody, but I went through the first 5 years of my sobriety like this. That was the color of my knuckles at all times. I went, I'm not doing heroin. I love my daughter. I love my son. I'm not doing heroin. I love my daughter. I love my son. And that's how I did the first 5 years of my addiction. And then I got right. And go over on Sunday and watch some of my other stuff, and I'll tell you some of the real personal things about how I got right. But I got right, and I changed everything about who I was, and I structured my life in such a way that I look at drugs all day, right? I look at drugs and alcohol all day. I'll get you in a sec, Kitty. The squirrel telling me she wants to be fed. I look at people who are high. I look at people who are drunk. I discuss drugs. I discuss alcohol. I discuss everything that I am that I'm trying to quit all day, every day. It's in my face 24/7 because of what I've chose to do with my life. And you know what? It doesn't bother me a lick. But the difference was I stopped with this, and I started to actually put myself into a far healthier form of sobriety. And it's nothing magical. I'm not smart or any of those things. It really comes down to just something that I do every day. I have a schedule that I keep with. Joe 83 says, Tommy Bird, I can agree with you. Suboxone saved my life also. This has saved the lives of more addicts than you can possibly imagine. And you talk about a substance that you can cut down on. I can take a Suboxone strip now and cut it into 16 pieces. My original dose from the doctor was 2 strips a day. I now take 1/16 of 1 strip. Now, I am going to take that down to where I am taking 1/32 of a strip. And I will do that for 14 more days. And the goal is to get completely off it. I may end up taking a 16th a day for the rest of my life. And if so, who cares? It sure beats the hell out of the previous addiction. But Suboxone has been a lifesaver for me. There's no lifeboat without Suboxone. There's no there's nothing. There's no life. Without Suboxone, there would be none of this. It is a miracle drug, providing you use it how they tell you to. Wow, that's crazy. Seven. Said he couldn't even mix drinks if he got it. It was already done. Look what I got. Look what I got. The squirrel nut zipper. What do you say, kitty? You want to say hello? Oh, please don't hook my wire with your tail or your foot. And I tell you what, you can have it. I'm not gonna. No, don't. It's not a toy. All right, everybody. I am Captain Tommy Scoville. Yeah, hello, squirrel. See that? You have fans. When my uncle got drunk, that smell would come from him, made me sick. He passed in 2013. He was an amazing person when he didn't drink. Mary, thank God that that you can remember that. There are so many people that won't remember anything but the drinker. They won't remember the times that the person was amazing when they were sober, and that's a gift, and it says a lot about you. Russ Hampton, I'm going to wait to hear from you after work. I really hope that we're able to put this together. As I said earlier, we've got a lot of people asking for you to come back on. So please let me know when you're home from work. Thank you, everybody, for getting up early with me this morning. And you know what? This is a testament to the lifeboat. It is. It is a testament to the lifeboat, because when I put this shirt on and I put up the thumbnail, I said to myself, I'm going to just go do 5 minutes. I didn't feel particularly well this morning. And, I know I got to go and see a doctor and all that, but I just wasn't feeling well. And I thought I'm just going to go and lay back down until it's time to go. But I feel so much better because I sat and talked with you guys. This connection is just such a beautiful thing, Hey, Tommy Bird, I love you, brother. Keep your chin up. You're one of the best. I mean that. From the word go, you're one of the best. Hey, tell you what, Borderline, shoot me an email, all right, bud? It's at sober@myyahoo.com. Hey, Ned and Coco, Speed Shop, good to see you, man. Please just send me an email, and we can talk about that. Donna Wheeler, she has been lurking and listening. Well, it's good to see you. We like lurkers. All right, everybody. I think it's fairly safe at this point that I can say I am Captain Tommy Scoville. This is a cat that's going to be chewing on my. See, this is what she does for fun in the morning. Isn't that nice? I'm a chew toy for a cat. Isn't that nice? Fortunately, she's very loving and doesn't actually hurt me. I say that now, but I'm just really stoic. I'm going to have to go put a tourniquet on my thumb for what she just did. Thank you for the support, Greg. I really appreciate it. And to all of you, all right? I love you guys, and we'll see you on the next boat. I will be doing another one today. Hopefully, I will be on. I may be doing AA run today. I'm not sure, but if I am, I will go and post it. I've got, believe it or not, I got one or two others that have asked me to come on and do the same kind of thing. So I will be keeping everybody in the loop. We're going to be building the boat a lot in the next month. All right, stick with me on it. Give me some patience. I promise you, I'm going to make it better. All right. God bless. And that a good girl. Squirrel, just turn it off. There we go. And good girl.